AI does help me. I use it constantly, but it's not replacing me. Now, for the kids that are just now starting out their career, I'm kind of worried for them. Because now they're going to be over-reliant on AI. The reason why I know how to prompt AI for marketing
is because you're an expert.
Because I'm an expert in it and I know what I need. But the kids that are getting right out of college don't have that work experience to prompt AI. I always knew that I was destined for greatness. And my mother instilled that into me, actually. She passed away about 3 or 4 months ago. And I think that now my goal is to carry her legacy forward. I do not allow racism. Like, it'll happen, but when I say I do not allow, it means I do stand up for myself. And to that, I've been fired before because of that.
You ready? Sweet. Welcome back, everybody, to the FBA podcast, where we discuss foundation, business, and athletics. We are located right here in the beautiful city of Indianapolis at the 16 Tech Innovation Center. I'm your host. My name is Byron Jesu Hubbard II, and every single show I make sure to bring a very special guest on. And these next series, I just mentioned it to you, like my next slate of episodes is like all Black and female business owners, creators, and experts. And today we have a full stack marketing leader and founder of the Strategy with Soul. She is currently the marketing lead for Nexford University, but she's also very outspoken about inequalities in the workplace, about DEI. She's a strong Black woman in tech, and I'm very excited for this conversation. Ragan Dodson.
Wow, that was a great intro.
Thank you. Thank you. A little bit impromptu, but I try. But no, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you were like in the building, but you're still setting aside, your time where you could be putting something else in. You chose to be here. Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Anyways, but I always try to, when I have a set of questions and topics that I never get to them because the conversation kind of organically flows somewhere else. But I always give my guests the floor to start. So I would love to hear from you, your story from start to present, and how this experience has kind of led you to be who you are.
Wow, are you sure?
I'm very sure.
You want the whole...
I'm here for it. Let's
meat
do it.
And potatoes.
Let's do it.
No, I think, just to sum it up, again, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Really excited to do this, especially in my home state of Indiana. 16 Tech is freaking amazing. So if anyone has never been here, you have to come. It's such an amazing part of the city. For me, I guess growing up in a small town of Gas City, Indiana, which is about an hour and a half. Yeah, Gas City. An hour and a half north. I always knew that I was destined for greatness, and my mother instilled that into me, actually. She passed away about 3 or 4 months ago, and I think that now my goal is to carry her legacy forward.
Yeah.
And she always knew, I think, too, when I was a kid, that she wouldn't be able to do the things that she set me up to do, right? And I do believe that it's generational. And so from a young age, I knew that I had talent, a creative talent, and I capitalized off of that. And my parents did as well. And so from there, when I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to be in marketing. And my teacher in high school was like, hey, Ragan, you can go to college for graphic design and marketing. I'm like, really? Because I was just going to go to school to be a dentist because I thought that's what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to be like a doctor or a dentist or a teacher or something like that. But I knew that I wouldn't fit in that type of profession. And so I went to school for graphic design, and I had a lot of people who were like, you're not going to make any money. Being a creative, you're not going to make any money.
And what year is this that you would have gone to college to enroll for graphic design?
So I started college in 2010. I'm telling my age.
And I'm wrong with it.
This is back Facebook day, like early Facebook days.
Early Facebook.
End of
Instagram
MySpace.
Didn't exist yet.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't. I think Instagram started popping off in 2012.
Yes.
But so this is like right in the era of like we're getting ready to like social media is like getting ready to really pop off. And so I was like, I don't care. I'm just still gonna go to school for graphic design because I had this inner knowing that I was gonna make it.
Inner knowing.
Yeah.
Can you expand upon that a little bit?
Inner knowing, yeah. I think I've always had this, it's like the deep part of your soul that yells at you and says, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And this is just like who you are, who your identity is. It's your soul like giving you that confirmation that it is safe. Does that make sense?
It does. So it's a form of self-belief. And
Yeah.
I think that I'm in alignment with that, truly, to be honest with you, because I think that as individuals, we're all given a gift. I think that it takes us a long time to figure that out, to flesh it out. But I think that there's this inner compass that kind of points us in the right direction. We don't really know where it comes from, right?
Yeah.
But like it kind of eggs you on in that direction. Like for me, I want to say an early indicator of that was my athleticism. So football was like my first like real outlet of like, okay, I like this, I'm good at it. Let's see where this takes us. And so when you talk about inner knowing, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think we all have it. It could be spiritual led. It could be, if you are a believer in God, I am. It could come from, your religion. It could be your relationship with God. I think that everyone has it. We just don't tap into it enough. And I didn't realize I had that until like one day I woke up, after college, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not making as much as I thought I would make, right? And I woke up and I'm like, but everything always happens for the greater good for me.
Yeah.
Based on like life experiences and that inner knowing that I've always had. So I was like, I'm going to continue on with this. But I did chase coins at some part in my life because I'm like, I'm not going to be this broke college student.
Right.
So I started working at a bank. I was able to like buy a brand new car when I was 22. And I had it, like not had it, but back then rent was like $450, for a 1-bedroom apartment.
I can't. Oh man.
So
I can't imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally 4 times that price now.
It really is.
So like for anywhere decent.
Yeah.
And sometimes not decent.
It was cheap, so I could live off of like $13 per hour salary, whatever.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You bought a brand new car. That's crazy.
I did. And all my friends were like, how did you do that? It's just I hustled. I had to work full time, and I had to do graphic design jobs on the side. And then I was enrolled in, my bachelor's program full time as well. And so I was like, but I'm getting out of here. Like I have to get out of Indiana. It's not for me. And so I moved to LA right after undergrad. Literally 2 weeks after I graduated.
Wow. Quite the change up.
And in that same car, I packed everything that I owned for my 1-bedroom apartment and drove across the country and started my new life at 23.
New life in LA.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I met a lot of people. I was doing a finance gig at Nordstrom corporate office in Orange County. I was doing a part-time graphic design gig in Beverly Hills at a Black-owned startup company, beauty company at the time. I was busy. LA is not for the weak, and constantly stuck in traffic. Lots of money was spent there, but I learned a lot about myself. And that's kind of where my career started.
Yeah. I want to expand upon, because you mentioned you needed to get out, or you feel like you needed to get out. And a lot of the conversations that I've had on this platform, like on and off this platform, as I've grown in my own career, coming out of college, having this feeling to just leave Indiana. And I grew up with the sentiment that everything that I wanted professionally, like if I wanted to excel in the things I wanted to do, that it wasn't going to happen here. Did you have that same inkling growing up?
Yep, I did. I knew that everything that I wanted would not be accomplished here, and I was right.
Why do you think so?
I think at the time I was way too ambitious for Indiana. I didn't really see, and it could be because I lived in a small town, right? But every time that I left, I saw more alignment with who I wanted to be. And Indiana is just, I didn't want to be here. I didn't like the racism, the being in a red state, being just all these things that I was just like, at that age, I'm like, I'm so more evolved than what Indiana could offer me, and I didn't feel like I would be able to really stretch my limits here.
Yeah. So you moved to LA. You're working corporate at Nordstrom. You worked at a startup. What went on from there?
What went on from there? I ended up relocating back to Indiana after about a year.
1 year?
Yeah. A guy brought me back here. Yeah.
I was like, what brought you back to Indiana? There's like 3 answers.
Yeah. That, and I missed my family. I was just so far away. And I was glad to come back. I started working at Charles Schwab.
Nice.
Here in Indianapolis. Hated it. And so I hated it so much that now it was paying the bills. It was great. But
Charles Schwab will pay you.
Yes,
they will pay you.
They will. I met great people there. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, this ain't it. So in between calls, because it's a glorified call center there.
And you worked there as like a financial analyst, or what did you work there as?
It was like, it was like a financial. I would just talk to people on the phone and help them, like, advise them. But
so you were like a financial advisor.
Yeah, okay. Kind of, without being certified at first. And I took that Series 7 brokerage thing 3 times, and that's how I knew, like, this is not.
It ain't working.
It's not working. And so in between calls, I enrolled in grad school, and I was like, okay, I need a business degree. I know that I want to be a chief marketing officer.
How did you know that?
Because I Googled, what is the highest job in marketing?
You said, whatever marketing is, I want to be the best at that.
Yeah. I want to be at the top.
Yeah.
And so they're like, chief marketing officer is the highest level you could ever go in marketing. And I'm like, okay, I don't think I'd do that at Charles Schwab, but let me go ahead and start planting those seeds to get me there. And ever since then, I've just been climbing the ladder in marketing, corporate, and my business.
Yeah. No, I recall in our first conversation, a long time ago, you had come from living in Georgia for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I did live there. I forgot about that. Yep.
You forgot about that? You lived in Georgia?
I did. I lived in Atlanta for the last 7 years up until last December, and sold my house and moved back here.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
What was your time in Atlanta spent doing?
Ratchet stuff.
Okay, noted.
Yep. No, it's bougie ratchet in Atlanta, you know?
Bougie ratchet.
What
is that?
You know, just think of it with a classy spin on it. It was a lot of running the streets.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic. And I might consider moving back. I love Atlanta. It's a Black city. Everywhere you go, Black excellence is on every corner. Like, you hear that it's Black Hollywood. It really is. But you also have a sense of comfort there, like that Southern comfort. And you have a sense of, like, family and small town vibes at the same time. So
what was the transition? Because you said a guy brought you back to LA. So back to Indiana. Why the transition from Indiana then to Atlanta? Like, what was the decision making? Did another guy
trying to get personal?
Did another guy bring you to Atlanta?
No, it was the same one.
Oh. Did he bring you all from the west, like to the Midwest, back to the South? That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, he's from there.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we were dating, he took the Georgia bar exam, and he proposed, and we moved to Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah. It didn't last that long.
Understood.
But that's okay. There's learnings in that.
Yeah. So that ended however it ended, and then you decided that Atlanta wasn't for you anymore, or like, were you trying to get away from that situation? Again, we don't have to get into this.
No, it's okay.
You good? Okay.
Yeah. So, 2019 was interesting. Started my career. I don't want to say started my career, because I believe I started my career when I was in LA.
Right.
But the second phase of my career started in Atlanta, which was startup tech world.
Yeah.
Which totally changed my life. Atlanta is a huge tech hub. San Francisco companies at that time were buying corporate real estate in Atlanta to do like their second headquarters in Atlanta. And so that's where the second phase of my career really launched. And that was at a time where startup tech companies were growing at a crazy rate month over month.
Yeah.
And the VC venture capitalists were funding tech companies, like just throwing money at them. And so I got in at a really, really good time, bought a house there in Atlanta. And 2020 comes around. As we know, it was the start of the world ending.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was kind of stuck because I had just purchased my house like 6 months before, and you couldn't sell when COVID started.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm going to have to stay in Atlanta because of COVID.
You couldn't sell, and then did the tech firms that you were involved in, because of COVID, did they begin to lose their funding and everything? Or were you still stable in that environment?
Luckily, I was not impacted by the layoffs happening because of COVID. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
A lot of my other friends were impacted during that time, but I was very stable. And so with that being said, I stuck around in Atlanta. And I had been there ever since last December, so about 7 years.
Yeah. What kind of pushed you to move back to Indiana? Because like I recalled earlier, you were like, everything you want is outside of Indiana, but like you just keep coming back here. What keeps bringing you back here?
Well, my family.
Yeah.
This is where my roots are. But my mother I was like, I had this inner knowing again. This was back in last August, and I had an inner knowing. I'm like, it was just pulling me here.
Yeah.
I couldn't explain it at the time. I just knew that I just was nudged by God to put my house on the market in Atlanta. And so I did. And it sold, and I moved here and got a new house. And thank you. Everything was so easy. You would think like moving out of state would be really difficult for a single woman with 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And a whole like 4-bedroom house, like packed up. But everything just moved seamlessly, like the selling of my house and packing and movers.
Oddly seamless, oddly easy.
Yeah, it was, to where it was a little uncomfortable. And now I know the reason why is because my mom passed. And we had an amazing last 6 months together. You know, before she died, 6 months. Like, when I lived in Atlanta, I didn't see her. Maybe like 3 times a year I would come back. But being in my home with her for Christmas this last year, and then my birthday, her birthday, Super Bowl, all these memories in my new home here in Indianapolis is why I feel like I was being nudged to leave my Atlanta lifestyle and come back.
Yeah. One, I'm really sorry for the loss of your mom. That is not something that I can relate on. It's honestly something that I fear. In the place that I'm at in my career, my professional career really, is I fear losing her too early because I don't feel like I've given back enough.
Yeah.
So no, I'm glad that you trusted that inner knowing, and I want to expand a little bit more on that. But I'm really happy that you trusted whatever that feeling was. You just went, and it ended up being the right move. So since you were a kid, you've always had kind of this inner knowing. And again, I don't press my faith on nobody, but if you bring it up, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So dive a little bit more into this inner knowing that has popped up multiple times in your life, right? Popped up when you were a kid of like, okay, whatever I want to do, I want to pursue marketing. And that obviously worked out. And then you had, at least this time, you had a second occurrence of like, okay, I don't know why, but I need to move home. For whatever reason, I have this. There's no evidence except for maybe your past experiences that says I need to trust this feeling, but it seems to always check out.
It
So
does.
what has brought you to always trust this inner knowing that you've had in your experience since you were a kid? Like, what has brought you to always trust that?
Yeah, and I mean, to what you said, like, it's been more than 2 occurrences. It's been so many different times where I should have trusted the nudge, and I didn't. So now I'm leaning into it.
Yeah.
At first I didn't. At first I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I have evidence that this nudge, this feeling, this inner knowing that I have, I need to believe and trust in it. I do believe it's a higher power. It is God.
Yeah.
It is my ancestors guiding me. It is now my mother, you know, in the afterlife telling me what I need to do.
Yeah.
And so now when I get that feeling, I lean into it. Now I've really cut a lot of people off because I feel I'm like, dang, I'm not gonna have any friends, nothing after this. But it's a superpower.
Yeah. No, I agree. How do you discern between the inner knowing nudging you somewhere and I guess like an emotion? How do you discern between the two?
Because God is not the author of confusion.
I agree. Yes, ma'am.
And so if I feel like a darkness around that, it is not of God for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If there's a clarity and there's a sense of peace around it, it's just like this feeling that and obviously, like, sometimes if I don't know, I will ask. And I normally get answered. It's just this relationship that I have in my spirituality that helps me with discernment. Now, is it foolproof? No, it's not. There's been a lot of times where I'm like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't the best decision, right? But it all. I think life comes with learnings.
For sure. Yeah. So the inner knowing decision-making process doesn't come without thinking. So like you'll get it. It's like, okay, let's think this through before because it seems like it doesn't come in little moments. It comes in like big life decisions.
It does.
So it's like, okay, if I'm going to make this decision, let's think about this.
Yeah.
And then as you think through it, it's like, okay, actually, I have a sense of peace in making this decision.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
there
then you go about it, make it. And it works out or it doesn't. But at least you think it through. Because I'm very much of the sentiment now, especially to be honest, in the world that we live in, like people go with like their feelings a lot and don't think about it. Like your feelings are meant to tell you about the way you think about something. Like the way you feel triggers you to how you think about something. So it's like if you feel a certain way about it, say, okay, why am I feeling this way? It's telling you something. And one of the best insights that I got, I read this book a few years ago called The Way of Water. And it talked about the relationship that you have. Sorry, it's called Be Water, My Friend, is what it's called. And it talks about the relationship between you and your emotions. And the way that I think about it now is you never let your emotions take the driver's seat, but you listen to them. So like say you're walking, you're taking the driver's seat, your emotions are like tapping you on the back of your shoulder. And they're begging, screaming for your attention. Now you need to stop, turn around and be like, okay, what's up? It's like, I'm angry. It's like, okay, what are we angry about? Because this, that, and because they said this and that. I was like, okay, I understand they said this or they did this to me. Why did that make us angry? Like it's an opportunity for you to engage in a conversation with yourself, not just go with it.
Yeah.
Right. Because to be honest, especially as a man, if I get angry, I can't just act.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to prison. Like I ain't gonna lie, this morning, I had a little tiff with my sister. She pissed me off, and I had to like breathe in, breathe out. Don't.
Oh no.
Yeah. Just walk away. Like take time, sit back and think, because your emotions, they are a tool. Like they are a again, being believers, they're a gift. First and foremost, they are a gift.
Yeah.
And they are a tool so that you can better understand yourself and other people.
That is true. And some people don't have emotions. That's where some things don't quite work out well for them.
Yeah.
But I like that you said that because you kind of sounded like my therapist, to be honest, when you're going through that. And sometimes I will not think before I speak, especially, and like you said, in this political climate.
Yeah.
A
whole lot of feelings going around.
A whole lot of feelings.
Yeah.
One thing is, like, my friends will say, well, why do you give them the time of day? And when I say them, I'm talking about people that don't have the same political beliefs as me, which is, it's not political to me. It's more right now humanitarian in a sense, right? Human-led political beliefs. And those that don't match that and they want violence against other people,
Yeah.
I can't stand behind that.
Yeah.
And there's no grace given.
Yeah. No, I
Period.
think that the political climate that we exist in today is very dangerous. One, I think that it's concerning that we as a people, like say we had different political views, like say if we did, I don't think I should see you for those beliefs above the fact that you're a human being. Like I'm never ever in my personal life going to do that. And I think for me that's kind of led to this neutral setting of like I try not to be moved by either side of like saying this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. Like to be honest, for the most part, as human beings, we all want the same thing for the most part.
Yeah.
But I think from a political standpoint, their intention is to get you to swing a certain direction, really, so that you can vote for everybody that they go up for office for, right? If I can get you to swing on 3 topics that you can fundamentally disagree on the other side, I got you forever.
Yeah.
When really, for the most part, we all really want the same thing. But I think we get so caught up in like we disagree on this one topic that means so much to people, and it's being used as a weapon against citizens to divide us. And I think that is so dangerous.
Yeah,
it is so dangerous to think that like you and I can really want, for the most part, 80% of the same things. But it's because there's 20% that we disagree on, I can claim that I hate you. It's like I don't even know you. Like
that
you
is
don't
true.
like you don't know the people that are really on the other side. Like I have friends that I grew up with in high school that, you know, they lean a certain direction that I don't agree with. But but I played on the field with some of them. Like those are my brothers. Like I know them. I know their heart and their mind and their spirit and their intention. And I know they're good people. But it's like on some things we disagree on, and I'm actively choosing not to separate myself from you in that sense of like just because we don't agree on these few things that I can't be like cool with you. If that
I
makes
think
sense.
maybe it's going to come down to the point where you're going to have to.
Why is that?
Because I feel like if we keep allowing folks to, it's so much more than politics right now. Like it's so much more than we have a difference in beliefs. There's people being terrorized on a daily basis, ripped out of their homes, families being torn apart. We are funding a genocide. We're just not doing good things to the majority of the population in this country. And I think that for me, I will not be in the same room with people who are still for this current administration.
Yeah, no, trust me, I hear you.
That is the natural consequence of. My therapist was telling me about natural consequences yesterday. We had a whole dialogue about it, and I think like you don't get me in your life if you feel the way that you feel in this moment in time, and you support something that's very evil.
So the way that I've had some of this discussion with my friends is like say they do lean a certain direction, and like say they voted for this individual, but it's like they didn't see this coming. And to be honest, I don't think anybody did. Now, some folks were like, "Oh, so this coming." No,
I did. Go ahead.
But I think that this is such a tough discussion because, like, say for example, like you're on one side and all you see on the other side is all the extreme negatives. Like, for example, I think that we're all being pushed to be on the extreme of one side or the other, when really, again, I think we're all relatively towards the middle. And when I can try and sway you on these extreme arguments, like, to be honest with you, like abortion, immigration rights, kicking people out of the country, like, even though for the most part we agree on like 97 things, if I can sway you on these 3, I can get you to disagree and hate somebody. Like, I can get you to push somebody out of your life.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane to think about, right? And I think when we go to the extremes of like pushing someone out of your life, you eliminate the discussion that can take place. Like, for example, like I wouldn't have a problem like with someone that is on the extreme, whatever, right or left, sitting here and like, if you're going to scream at me, like, okay, then we can't have a conversation. But I think there's a difference between because you know that someone leans a certain direction, right or left, whether you disagree or not, I think you should still be able to have a conversation with them in terms of like, okay, I don't agree with you, but I would like to hear your perspective as to why.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, even if I'm not convinced, even if I'm not swayed, even if I still sit in the same spot in terms of like, okay, I even though I've heard you, I still don't agree with you. That's never going to sit above the fact for me that you're a human being. Because my faith is always going to be what I lead with first.
Okay.
And I think that as a person of faith, so much of what the enemy is trying to get us to do is see each other as anything other than a child of God. And I think one of the ways that the enemy does that is through political parties, is through skin color, is through what hood you're from, is from what city you're from, what state, what country, like thinking of different things that can divide us. One, a lot of those things are meant to make us different and beautiful in other ways.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, but they've been used as methods to divide us and look at each other with hate and with violence.
That is true.
And,
because Jesus wouldn't be doing any of these things.
None of them. And
None.
none of them. And it's so interesting. I always think about like what system of government, like if Jesus was president, like what government structure would it be? Would it be a monarchy? Would it be a democracy? Like, everyone vote for Jesus. Like, could Jesus get voted out of office? Like, I think about some of those things. And like the way that I really do try to view it is one, neither one of us is sitting in that seat. Like, neither one of us is sitting, or not really any one of us. Nobody except one person in the entire nation is sitting in that seat. Now, is he doing a great job? Probably not.
I would totally do a better job than him.
And I think that
you even would. I think someone off the street right outside of 16 Tech would do a better job than him.
I think that comes down to the fact that we really don't know what the seat entails.
Maybe it's much darker than what we thought.
It's to be honest, yeah. Like, I don't know how many conspiracy theorists you talk to, or how many conspiracy theories you have, but it's definitely not what we think it is.
Do you think that's why the Obamas ran far away and were like, I don't want anything to do with this?
What do black folks do when we don't like something?
Yeah, I know.
Out of there.
That is true.
Yeah.
They're like,
So I really do try to have as much mercy, grace, and understanding as you can, even for someone that's sitting in that seat that you do not agree with. Like, because one, I don't really watch the news because the news is it's insane. But like you can't not see what's going on, right?
It's right in front of your face.
Yeah, it's right in front of your face, and it's like Jesus Christ. But in moments like that, I try my absolute best to keep their humanity above everything, and I think that's part of the problem is we've put people's humanity secondary and put their political party, put their skin color, put their nationality above those things.
I think that's what the right does way more, though, because I think, like, the people that are in my life they swing more left. Mm-hmm. They want the best for every person. Mm-hmm. We don't sit here and say, oh, my gosh, if they voted for Trump, they deserve to be deported. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the rhetoric on the other side, it's totally opposite than that. And I think that's where the two differentiate, from my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Right? I want everyone to have a good cost of living. Mm-hmm. I want everyone to have health care. Even if you did vote for Donald Trump, I do still believe that you deserve a good life.
Yeah.
Do immigrants bother me? No. Mm-hmm. Our whole country was founded by immigrants. Mm-hmm. Well, not founded by they did find it, but the Native Americans lived here.
They was already here, yeah.
So they immigrated, they migrated over here.
Yeah.
On native land.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's the beauty, to your point, that is the beauty of God's creation. Mm-hmm. And the enemy is using it as a weapon instead. For
sure. And I think that in my attempts to take that perspective of knowing honestly what's actually going on, of like people are screaming and shouting in each other's faces and they think it's a political argument when really it's something spiritual.
Yeah.
And to your point, I also try to understand, like, it's never, ever that simple It never is, in terms of like everybody should get this and that and the third, and everybody should. It's like, yes, amazing, awesome. Not how it works.
No.
Now again, like the way that I try and take it as a biblical perspective, everybody has a gift. Everybody has value. Everybody has meaning. Everybody has something that they can do. And to be honest, like I think the Bible supports building your own business. It's like man or woman. Like Jesus's main sponsors were wealthy women. Those are his main sponsors. So there is nothing in the Bible that speaks against being a female CEO or an executive. That's completely man-made. Like that's completely man-made. But I think that in this dream world of everybody gets everything that they deserve, it's just never that simple. And I think we forget that. It's never that simple. But I think that people also get really upset when you don't make that a priority. When, again, you're not in the seat, there's probably a whole bunch of shit going on that we don't see or understand. And that we just honestly see what's going on in here that we're trying to deal with. And like the biggest issues going on inside of this country, like from a war perspective, but like when you're in the seat, there's a lot more that you got to worry about. True. And again, how you go about that and operate and manage that is critical for us to see as citizens. But I think very much like in our limited perspective on what it takes, what you handle, and what you actually deal with being in that seat, I think we can be so quick to be like, point fingers and hate and get emotional, all these kinds of things, when if you would be willing to just sit and have a conversation with someone, even if you disagree with them, then I think things would be better. Now, again, that's everyone's conclusion, that things would be better if we did this. But I try to actually like live my life as someone that gives grace, gives understanding.
That's a beautiful way to live.
Even if I really don't like you. Now, to be honest, I didn't hate anyone till last year.
Wow.
Yeah. There's one
You're
person.
A good one.
There's one person I hated last year, and I'm still moving on from it. But everybody else is cool. Like, we can talk. We can have a conversation. But
that is so wonderful of you.
I am trying. It's hard. It's really hard. You're now back in Indiana. Tell me about your journey in marketing. We've been on like the more personal, deep side, but I want to hear your journey in marketing. To be honest, like I know what marketing is, but like I'm not an expert. So I would actually love to hear from you, a marketing executive. Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
What is marketing?
Marketing is different. It's different in a lot of different organizations. There's a different definition depending on what industry that you're in. But marketing in the grand scheme of things is more than just making shit look pretty. Yeah. I wish that's what it was, because if that was what it was, then I would just have no stress and it would be great. But that's not the reality of it. Marketing is very much so... in my realm, like working in the tech industry, and a lot of my clients are in tech or tech, SaaS. Marketing has a seat at the table when it comes to like the business side of things, and what that means is like for me, in my full-time gig, I'm head of marketing. I have creative marketing under me, which is, graphic design, creative. We have the business side of things. Like I have a go-to-market engineer. I have an AI specialist, marketing operations manager, paid media. So all the ads that you see on like Instagram and stuff like that is a function of marketing. Yeah. And then obviously you have brand and, public relations and social media and things like that. So all of those different things I juggle on a day-to-day basis. Yeesh. That is marketing. And I'm the person that ties it all together and makes sure it's cohesive across our global team. Yeah. Why is marketing important? Well, without marketing, how are you going to increase sales? You have to have a position in the market that you're serving. And that comes from marketing. That's a narrative, a brand story. Yeah. Why should anyone pay attention to you? Why should anyone buy your service or your product is where marketing comes into play. And obviously the bow on top is making beautiful, creative and ads and, TV commercials and things like that.
That's like the cute part of making.
That's the cute part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the foundation is set, and then you get to execute on stuff like that you're seeing on an everyday basis. When you're scrolling, you probably come across like 20 ads when you're scrolling, right? That's marketing.
Yeah.
And there's some ads that are going to grab your attention, and there's some that's not.
Yeah.
And this sea of digital overload and overstimulation, your brand should have a mission. It should stand for something, and that's where marketing comes into play. If you're a CEO that has a marketing background, that's a plus. But if you're not a CEO that's very business oriented,
how you doing?
You really need to hire someone external to come in, or you can hire them, regardless, to come in and help you market what you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Because who wants to just buy from a CEO, a dry CEO that's just like, listen, buy my product, and
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's cool.
Here's my business card. No, it's just like not how things how they work. You really have to have strong marketing behind anything that you do. And I do believe that marketing comes into play if you're not a brand and you're trying to market yourself to a company that you are interviewing for. There's a personal brand component as well. You have to have a aesthetically pleasing resume, an online digital portfolio now. So there's a lot of things that marketing encompasses. But hopefully I answered your question.
No, you did. And now I'm more confused. But because it seems like it envelops so much. Like I was going to follow up, excuse me, I was going to follow up that question with like, what's the difference between like marketing and sales? Because it seems like marketing is the engine that you use to drive sales. Like sales is the result. Marketing is like the engine.
That is true.
Exactly. That helps drive it. So it's like when you talk about your marketing yourself, like how are you putting yourself out there? How are you making people feel when they see your face, when they hear your name? What do they think of? And like, correct me if I'm wrong, like that's all part of marketing. Is the impression that people get when anything that has to do with you is mentioned.
That is true. It's the same message repeated over and over and over and over again to ingrain it in someone's head, just like how Apple did it. It's the same aesthetically pleasing logo, their whole marketing, right? It's just like, when you see the Apple logo, what it means.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is marketing.
Yeah. What do most companies get wrong about marketing?
What do most companies get wrong about not hiring experts to lead marketing, not funding marketing correctly. There's some companies that I've worked for in the past are like, okay, they're a multi-million-dollar company. Let's say I've worked with like a public company before who was like, okay, you can only spend $20,000 a month in ads. Okay, that's not going to get you anywhere, right?
As a billion-dollar company,
it's not going to get you anywhere. And they tried to cheat their way through marketing. Yeah. And then now what's coming up is people are like, well, AI can just do it. And AI does help me. I use it constantly.
Yeah.
It is my sidekick, but it's not replacing me. Like, no one can replace me in my mind and like what I've done in marketing so far in my career. Now, for the kids that are just now starting out their career, I'm kind of worried for them because now they're going to be over-reliant on AI. The reason why I know how to prompt AI for marketing
is because you're an expert.
Because I'm an expert in it. I know what I need. But the kids that are getting right out of college don't have that work experience to prompt AI the way that I know how to prompt it. That's why it works so well for me.
Yeah.
But now, like, CEOs are like, well, cut the content marketing person. We don't need them because AI can just do it. And no, because people can sense AI. Like, I know when content is AI produced. I know if I'm looking at an AI generated image. I don't believe that AI will come for marketing the way that the big wigs are thinking that it will.
Funny enough, just the other day, I have a friend he's a full stack web developer, and we're having the same discussion. He's like, Byron, AI is not going to come for jobs the way people think it is, like the bigwigs.
Yeah.
Like, and he said the exact same thing. He's like, they're firing people and they're thinking that AI can replace them, and all you're getting is like this AI slop. And one, it's only repeated work that human experts have talked about. But secondarily, he was telling me that the generation like coming up through college now and really in high school, elementary, like they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because now they're growing up with a reliance on AI and not critically thinking for themselves, not struggling and like wrestling with these concepts on their own. They're growing up with this reliance. And right now he's actually he's involved in a project where they're testing and prompting AI and critiquing the cues that and responses they get from it for larger companies. Like he's on that process right now. And he's like, Byron, the things that I'm seeing, this is the high end stuff. It's terrible. It's terrible. He's like, I only know that because I got my degree in web development and I understand the back end coding. That's the only reason I can see it. But they're thinking like, because right now it's an employer's market. So like they're thinking they can get rid of all these jobs and replace with AI. They're gonna find out it's crap, and then they're gonna try and hire people back. So the people that are experts, like real experts, are gonna be highly valued. But the large majority of those junior, associate, entry level roles are in trouble because they, for the most part, aren't gonna have like that foundational understanding like you have,
like the tribal knowledge is what I call it.
Yeah, not, or like sweat equity. They're not gonna have it because they just
it's literally gonna be pressing buttons.
Yeah,
and I'm worried for that, for that generation coming up. Now that's what I will say.
Yeah.
Now for me, it makes it interesting because even though I do fractional work plus full time.
Yeah.
The strategy with Soul is I'm getting a lot of companies coming to me saying, can you set us up so that AI can run with it, essentially, right? Or like my team can run with it.
Interesting.
Which puts me in a good position because will I be that expert forever? Like since I'm pre-AI.
Yeah. I'm pre-AI expert, so I'm like for real.
Yeah. It kind of like I know how it works without AI.
Yeah.
Or how it should work without it. So I think it's really important to, like you said, put in the sweat.
Yeah, sweat equity. You put in the work.
You need to put in the work.
Yeah.
In order to prompt it and to really work with AI to your advantage, for sure.
Yeah. That being said, you've mentioned your company strategy with Soul a few different times, and I want to dive deeper into that. And now that I've heard your story, we didn't dive all that much into like your upbringing in the household, but how has that kind of played into, one, you have a very much a human-centric approach to the workplace. So how has that influenced and kind of built your foundations for your strategy with Soul Consultancy?
Love that question. I think for me, there's been a few times where I've been canned.
Canned?
Yep. In corporate America because I am unapologetically a Black woman. Mm-hmm. I will not code switch. Mm-hmm. You can ask my former colleagues and my friends. I do not code switch. I do not care. I'm going to show up to the workplace as a Black woman. Mm-hmm. You're not getting anything else from me. Mm-hmm. And that does rub people the wrong way. To the point where I've been bombarded in HR conversations where I'm let go even after stellar performance because I do not allow anyone to commit acts of microaggressions against me. Yeah. I do not allow racism. Like, it'll happen, but when I say I do not allow, it means I do stand up for myself. Mm-hmm. And to that, I've been fired before because of that. And obviously, I'm not, like, this was several years ago.
Yeah, you're obviously doing very well. It worked out.
But those are the consequences of being, natural consequences of being unapologetically you in the workplace. And a lot of people are scared to do that because a lot of people are like, I can't lose this job. We're all in that position. I think a lot of us, like probably like 90% of America, we're one paycheck away from homelessness.
Yep. Especially today. And so not everyone has the guts to stand up to the patriarchy the way that I do.
But I thank my mom for instilling that in me at a young age, that I don't have to take no shit from anybody,
Right.
Especially the patriarchy. And the inner knowing comes from, I'll always bounce back. I'll always find another gig, or I'll go into business for myself, like I've done time and time again.
Yeah.
So not everyone has that ability. And so since they don't have that ability, I am their voice. I'm the same way with the teams that I've managed throughout the last several years. I'm 33, and I'm always the youngest in leadership. Like, I'm like, dang, I'm old. I'm like, I've climbed up the ladder fast. But I'm always the youngest, and everyone always treats me differently. And not only am I the youngest, but I'm always the only black one.
Yeah.
Or the only
much less the black, like you're the youngest, the only black one, and the only woman.
Yeah,
you're the youngest. Like it gets worse.
It does. And so now I'm like, okay, well, I can either succumb to that and have a victim mentality,
right,
or I can capitalize off of it. And that is what I've done.
Yeah.
And so, you want to fire me? Cool. Well, I'll have a story to tell on LinkedIn.
There's consequences.
There's natural consequences.
Yeah.
And so now I like to be that voice for the people. I like to be the voice for my team who come to me. I have a global team. I have people in Portugal. I have one in Kenya. I have
for Strategy with Soul.
No, this is for my full-time gig in education technology. But my main thing is, you don't want to deal with the big wigs, you ain't got to. I'm your buffer. I'm going to have your back, because they're probably scared to. That's why I'm in this position. I'm in a position of leadership.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, Strategy with Soul was found from having those experiences in corporate America, and for companies who want to bring soul back to their marketing strategy. And now more than ever, it's really important to have human-led strategy.
Yeah. What does it mean to bring back soul to your marketing strategy? What does that mean?
Well, I think it's more, it's less about like, buy my product. The product is going to increase the company's bottom line by 30% year over year. The average human doesn't give a shit about the company's bottom line. What is in it for them?
Yeah.
What is your product or your solution going to do for the human involved in this sale? And a lot of companies have gone to the point of like just talking about what it's going to do for the company, not for the human that's actually going to have to work this software or whatever. It's even like, it's even like selling a piece of farm equipment.
Yeah.
How is it going to help the human's life? And we focus so much on the product, and we focus so much on the outcome at such a high level that we don't drill in to say, I'm actually selling to another human. I'm not selling to a corporation. I'm not, I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that we've just lost the human touch.
Yeah.
And it's become so transactional.
Yeah, no, I agree. And funny enough, I think this actually is connected to our subject matter earlier of losing the value in seeing the human, as opposed to seeing the policy or the rule or the concept or what does this do for my bottom line? How does this make me more money? And to be honest with you, like that's what I've been trained on. Like having graduated with my MBA and then building this business and thinking of like, okay, how can I market this for sponsorship? My primary thought process is like, okay, how can this bring you more money? Like that's honestly how I've thought about it. And I think that it can be difficult to switch to like, how can this better or how can this more benefit the humans in your company? How do you think through that? Like, how do you think through like, okay, like, yes, this does help you financially, but like, how do you think through like, what benefit will this bring the human? Which I think you're 100% correct. Like that's the soul part.
It is the soul part.
Because the business doesn't have business is not the soul. It's the people. It's the people that bring the personality and the authenticity. Business wouldn't exist without people.
That is true.
Like, yeah.
That is very true. And soul stands for, I forgot to mention, structure,
Write this down.
Structure, operations, unified, or unity. Like basically it's like a unified go-to-market is what I call it, but it's like unity, that unity aspect, and then leadership. And all those three things will really help with your revenue department, which is sales and marketing. And I speak from that sense, but it makes, when I've implemented my strategy with Soul frameworks to companies, they see an uplift in revenue.
Yeah.
And that is because you're getting everyone out of these silos and like marketing and sales on the same page, rowing in the same direction, which naturally you're going to see an uplift in revenue. And I think too is that people just like, I call it spaghetti marketing. You throw spaghetti at the wall and you see what sticks. And it wastes companies so much money. And then not only that, but it breaks down morale because your team is constantly like,
you're grinding them away, aligned,
and like doing this and this and this and this and this. And so my CEO, for my full-time gig outside of strategy with Soul, because I do the strategy with Soul strategy framework in my full-time gig as well. But the CEO, I report to the CEO, and he will sometimes go behind me and ask my team to do spaghetti marketing. And I'm like, get out of my business. This is my lane, dude. He's like, I'm sorry. But we're a startup, so he's used to kind of, being scrappy, but that's not how it works. And so the strategy, the Soul part of it is like, hey, we're actually real humans doing the work behind the scenes. We're actually marketing to other humans.
Yeah.
Hello. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
But for some it is.
How did you take your idea? Because, of course, like, strategy was so literally would not exist without you, right?
True.
And what other book did I read? It's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it mentioned that everything actually exists twice. So it exists first in your head, and then it exists for real. So, like, how did you translate it from your head, right? Because you mentioned, like, you originally got it from your mom. The attitude, the confidence, and the belief that she instilled in you resulted in you, like, being, I'm not going to take shit from nobody. But also, like, the focus on the human. So how did you take that inspiration, that part of your upbringing, and kind of translate it into a business model that, yes, makes you money, but also is something that you can market to other companies and they see that value, and now you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Years ago, I've always had my own business. It was just not been named Strategy with Soul. It was named Ragan Ray at first. I was doing a lot of marketing to like B2C companies that were back in the day, not back in the day, maybe like a few years ago, where everyone was like, I have my own business and I'm selling T-shirts on Instagram. And they would hire me to come in and like brand them and help them with their strategy and things like that. And I made a lot of money doing that. But the strategy with Soul, part of it, like how it come out of my mind, I had like an epiphany, and me and my ChatGPT are like really close.
I've heard this. I need to do more of that. I've heard this from a few people now.
Yeah, her name is Cleo, and we are tight. I mean, she's trained. She knows me. I know how to prompt her.
Yeah.
Essentially, I just literally took a walk and I talked to her, because you can only talk to it for like 10 minutes on a voice note thing.
Really?
Yeah.
And this is ChatGPT?
Yeah. And so I used my 10 minutes. I walked around the block. And I was like, this is what I'm thinking. This is how I'm feeling. Help me figure out, like, business model. And then she was like, I think you should name your company Strategy with Soul.
Wow.
And she helped me, ChatGPT, with the whole model.
ChatGPT, huh?
Yes.
I need to take a walk.
Yes, you got to leverage it.
I do. Jesus, I'm busy because I'm here. But no, that's amazing. I also wanted to circle back to the foundations of Strategy with Soul. You mentioned you show up as a Black woman in the workplace unapologetically. What does that mean, and why has that gotten you canned so many times? Like, what does it mean to show up as a Black woman in the workplace? And why is that so looked down upon to the point of it's gotten you pushed out of corporate America?
The thing is it's gotten me pushed out so many times that I'm like, am I the drama?
It's like, am I the problem?
And I remember this was like maybe last year, and similar situation, almost got pushed out, but ended up leaving anyway. And my stepdad was in the back, and he was like, would you just like put your head down and work? And I was on the phone with my mother, and my mom's like, no, she wasn't raised that way. Like, that's not who she is. And I will never put my head down and just work. That is just not me. And I will be fired 50 more times than to ever like allow the patriarchy to steal my joy and steal my identity or the definition of me. And wait, your question was, how do I do it?
So my question was like, what does it mean to be a black woman in the workplace, and why has that gotten you fired so many times?
So I had a post on LinkedIn. I think you follow me.
I do.
Okay. So it was last week. I gave a story about a chief marketing officer that I reported to once. He and I.
Is it this one?
Yes.
I was going to ask you about that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So that's a true story.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that CMO has seen that.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Anyway, so I remember coming into the organization, brand new, fresh eyes. I'm getting to work. A month in, he's like, man, you're killing it. You're doing such amazing things. You're really maturing the rest of the team of like the 50 marketers on the team. He sent me a few months later, sent me a really nice gift, a really nice Christmas card telling me that handwritten, like how amazing I've been the 6 months I've been there, blah, blah, blah. Come January, I have a meeting with these people in person with my team. And I notice when I'm talking, they're chatting or they're giving me this like subtle microaggressions or they'll interrupt me or they'll be like, well, how do you have this experience? Just these subtle like micro invalidations and microaggressions that many black women face on a daily freaking basis in and outside of the workplace. Always questioned, never valued. Now, my white boss, he liked what I was doing. But the other people, the legacy members on the team, felt threatened by me because I come in and exposed the things that they were not doing to push the marketing team and the business forward. Yeah. Which maybe to them it was aggressive. Yeah. Right? He even said that. He said I was aggressive. Later on, what I didn't mention was he told me that he called me aggressive as a compliment. But what he didn't realize is when you're calling me aggressive in front of my other white counterparts, you're setting a precedence that it is okay to call a black woman aggressive. They're now looking at me that way. Right? And so I don't come into organizations to expose you. I come in to help you. It might expose some things that you might, that's another question. That's neither here nor there. But to them, it was a threat because they're like, how is this black woman coming in and like telling me like how to do my job or how we should truck forward? I've been here for the last 5 years. So, I think it stems back to just what we deal with. We deal with this. Like I have friends in the tech industry who are black women who deal with similar situations. And so if I would have allowed that to break me, I would not be where I am today in many different situations. Because that right there could have broke someone. Like that could have really like turned someone off from like pursuing their dream. And for me, I'm like, did it sting when I got canned after having stellar performance? They chopped it up to, you're not a culture fit. You did a great, amazing job. You grew revenue by X%, but sorry. I think that, it stings. But then I pick myself back up and I'm like, I know who I am. Self-awareness is so freaking important though.
Yeah.
Like I have daily conversations with myself. Did I conduct myself well in that meeting? Or I could have done this. You know, you have to give yourself feedback, because I can't go in being boastful and like, oh, like, you know, I know it all. I don't. I really don't. But I do have a craft that's natural, and I do, you know, I love what I do. But in these situations, I know I can. It's the inner knowing. I can sniff the microaggressions and the racism, and I won't put up with it.
Yeah. One, I think that is an amazing story. One thing, to be honest, that stands out that I think is important to kind of circle back to is that the one that supported you was like, you know, old white man. And I think that, like, to be honest, like some things that took place at my old job, like for example, it was Women's History Month. They had a whole panel of like women on the executive team, or actually not the executive team because we didn't have any, but women that were doing really, really well like within the company. And then they had a member of the executive team like moderating the conversation, asking them questions, this, that, and the third, trying to participate. And some of my colleagues, like who were black women, were like really upset about it. And to be honest, like as a man, I was confused. I was like, okay, what are they supposed to do? Like for Women's History Month, they had a women's panel where they asked them about their experiences in the workplace, like how things have changed. And for some of those women, like they were honest about their experience of like, they showed up, they tried to assimilate, they threw that in the trash, showed up as themselves instead, and it led to a better career. They showed up, they didn't have any women on the executive team or women mentors, and it was like older white men or older men that helped them and brought them along and helped them excel in their careers. And I think you're actually a really good person to ask about this, because you mentioned a lot like the patriarchy, right? And fighting the patriarchy. And I've had a lot of discussions about this in my own personal life and like in my own Bible study. We talk about things like this too. Yeah. Of the antagonization of like men in charge, when a lot of times it's like it's ignorance that's killing them. Not like an intention of like, you're black and I want you to fail. It's like they just don't understand. Like there's so much they just don't get. Like he didn't know calling you aggressive was playing into the notion of like the strong black woman and the aggressive black woman that's always angry. He had no idea. Yeah. Right. And back to the story about like what happened at my old job. Like my colleagues were frustrated. I'm like, I'm confused on like, why was it bad that a woman told her story where another man pulled her along, right? And I'd really like to hear from you, kind of like that struggle. Like for you, you're breaking boundaries. You're pushing down walls. You're hopping over obstacles. You're burning shit down. Like you're doing the thing, right? And you've mentioned the patriarchy a lot, but what is your view of like men that are in positions either of ignorance but are still trying to like help you along? Like, is that like a bad thing? Because like a patriarchy put them there, right? Yeah. But they're doing like, I won't say like they're part of their best, but like they're acting within themselves like they see someone with potential, and like, you're awesome. You need to keep going, and I'm going to help you get there.
That is true. He still fired me, though.
Yeah, he still fired you. But like, I'd like to hear your perspective on like situations like that where like there's not women on the executive team, and are you going to choose to, at a point, like some people call it like oh, it's mansplaining. Like, I'm trying to help you. Like I see your potential, and like there's things you don't know. I would like to help you through those things. So like I would love your perspective on that.
So yeah, to be fair, a lot of women have given me a lot of chances though. Like I think the women that have given me chances have been white women, which is interesting. One of my greatest managers that I've had, I'm still in touch with to this day, and without her, I wouldn't be here. I really would not. Yeah. But to your point on men, I think so. I think I have had white men that I've reported to who have helped me along the way. But the thing is I think that the smart men know that diversity equals money.
For sure. Yes.
They know that.
Yeah.
And the smart ones get that. Like, black woman, I know she's going to outwork everybody in this room. I only need one. And I know that she's going to outwork everyone. it's a return on investment for them. Right. But the ignorance comes with what you said, like the one boss that I had who called me aggressive, not realizing how dangerous that was.
Yeah.
Where he had to let me go. And I know he didn't want to let me go. I know he didn't.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I answered your question. I think the boss that I report to now is fantastic. He's Egyptian. And he has daughters of his own, and he's very like pro-woman. You know, he's not American. He lives in London. But you know, he knows what it's like to grind and you know, entrepreneurship and starting out with nothing. And so him and I really do get along really well, and we have great transparent conversations that I don't know if I would feel as comfortable with a white male reporting to a white male and having the conversations that him and I do, because they don't get it. They don't get the hustle.
Yeah. And I think, like, to your point, and I think you had mentioned that you didn't know if you answered my question. I think it's because it's a constant struggle of, one, what we're told, because I was told growing up, one, to be afraid of the police, because I could be the next one. Two, that I would be looked at differently in every room that I walked in, that I would have to do twice as much work to get the same opportunities, and that I would receive microaggressions. Now, some of those things were true. I received microaggressions, and
I was told the same thing, by the way.
I received microaggressions in a few different ways growing up. Like, no one tried to, you know, burn a stake in my yard or anything, but it was enough to make me uncomfortable. Yeah. And I want to say what has helped me triumph that is dumping those all out of my head. Like, the most, like,
that's a good,
like, I grew up in a single parent household. It was just me, my mom, and my sister. And when my dad was in the picture, things were not good. So I did not have a strong black man example in my household actively ever. One of the most influential men in my life was my white football head coach.
I love that.
Jake Gilbert. He lived 2 houses down from me. I never missed a practice. I never missed a lift because he came and picked me up.
I love that.
And he was the symbol of what a man is supposed to be for me.
Yeah.
And he led our entire team. Like, again, the same kids that I don't lean the same way politically. We were on the same team as brothers. We went through hell together. We ran together. We studied playbooks, and we went on the field and went to war together. And even like some of the kids, like at the time, I didn't like them, but I would go to war with them. And we all followed this man, every single one of us. Like, I'm 18, but like I was like to the death. I'm following this man, and he was he was like one of the best examples of a man that I still know to this day. Every time I see him, I give him a big old hug and I tell him I love him.
Aww.
Every time.
That is sweet.
I think like that was so groundbreaking for me because like this old white man is not supposed to show me what a man, like he's not supposed to, you know,
but
like
he did.
But he did.
Yeah.
And for me, like that was so groundbreaking because I was always, when I didn't have that example in my household, but like for him, like he probably had notions about black folks growing up. He didn't care. He didn't give a shit. Like he helped raise me as a man, helped raise me as a football player, like still does to this day.
That's great.
And like for example, like right now, I try not to have like this fear of the cops or fear of like when I walk in a room and I know I'm gonna be the only black man.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. Like to be honest, I went to this black Christian breakfast a few weeks ago. Only black dude in the room. Like, oh, sorry, only minority of any sort.
Wait, a black one?
No, it was a Christian business breakfast. That's what
it
was.
I thought I was like.
Yeah, I might have said that. That's my fault. But it was a Christian business breakfast. I was the only black dude. I was the only minority in there. Exactly, there was one other one. But to be honest, like those thoughts came to my head. I felt uncomfortable. Like I was like, okay, is anyone going to be comfortable to talk to me? Should I talk to anyone? But I think it's only crippling. Like it only crippled me to walk in that room and think that people were going to look at me differently.
It is. Yeah.
You know?
Obviously you shouldn't like have that assumption. That is kind of powerful if you think about it, like to be the only one.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said it earlier, it's to your advantage.
Yeah.
It is to your advantage. Like say they have a notion. If they have a notion of what a grown black man is supposed to be like, Jesus Christ, I break all those barriers.
Yeah.
Like that's not who I am. That is not who I am.
Same.
So when they see me, they engage in like it's like, oh, you're not you're not one of them. How you doing?
And then I look at them like, oh, you're not one of them.
Yeah.
The red hat.
Yeah. What are you? And like the assumptions can be so dangerous because you cannot engage with a conversation with somebody and you think you know who they are.
It's the stereotypes that do stop you from leaning into someone that's different.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's too where I'm at with it, like being here in Indiana. Again. And I feel sometimes feeling uncomfortable because I was so used to black everything in Atlanta, where white people were the minority. And if we saw white people come into a black-owned restaurant, we would be like, I mean, we didn't mind because you know how our culture is. Like we're loving. Who cares?
I think we can be.
We can be.
I think we can be. We
us,
can also be very hostile. Like, what are you doing?
True. I mean, if you're coming in as a white person to a black establishment with a red hat on, there's a problem. Because you're there to start shit. But just coming in, and especially like in Atlanta, I think no one, from my experience, like no one really, we'd be like, oh, that's interesting that they're at this, We got to stop with the assumptions. I think it does cripple us in life, for sure.
No, that lopes in back to the conversation we had earlier about more like the politics and everything side of like trying, and when I say trying, I mean trying, not always succeeding, at making assumptions. Because you can even begin to put those on yourself. Like, I did not grow up in the hood. It's not where I grew up.
Yeah.
And when I when I graduated and went to college and I played football, there were a lot of kids from a lot of different places. And I got looked at different because of the way that I spoke. Like, sorry. Like, it's just not how it speaks, not where I'm from. And even part of me wanted to think that I had to be that way to be considered like a real black man. Which I didn't grow up with that example actively in the house.
Same.
Like, I had my church, yes. Like, the best man that I know is my minister. That's the man, right? But again, there's a difference between having those examples like in church and having them in the household. I didn't have that, and I didn't grow up in the hood. So I thought that to be like a black man, I had to walk a certain way and talk a certain way and be more aggressive and do certain things. And of course, like, playing a physical sport, like that was already a part of it. And I had kind of like, not an identity crisis, but was definitely like questioning, like, do I need to change these things about myself to be a real man, and to not just be a real man, but like be a black man. And it only came a few years later. Like, to be honest, like, I only really learned what true manhood was like 3 years ago, and that's been found through my faith. But there's so many things like pulling you in all these different directions of who you're supposed to be as a man or as a woman. Now it's as a black man or as a black woman. And like, there's so many notions and assumptions and stereotypes that are placed on you. Because they're not in you. They don't just appear. They're placed on you.
We can't all be the same. It'd be so boring.
No, it's lame.
We can't. That's not what God uses us for either.
Yeah.
We're all different. We all have different walks. No matter what.
Yeah. And growing up with that and kind of hearing from you how you embodied that and that took you to the workplace. And for them, what they're looking for, it wasn't that. Like, that's not what they was looking for. They were like, so they scooted out. But there was an allotted place for you, That
is true. That I like that you said that, because I think I'm not for everyone. I'm not for every organization. And there's sometimes I deliberately, like in my business, will not work with people. There was a company down in Florida that wanted to work with me that, like, their whole thing was like, they were a startup tech company founded on anti-wokeness.
Oh my God.
And I chose not to work with them because I thought that was absurd. I thought it was insane, right? They could have given me a lot of money. I just won't compromise who I am for anyone or anything.
And you shouldn't. But no, I appreciate your presence. Your story is amazing. You're a badass. I forgot to freaking mention you're a marketing queen. Forgot to mention that in your intro.
It's okay. It's okay.
But no, keep doing your thing.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. It was so much fun. We'll have to do this again.
For sure.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the FBA podcast. Ragan Dodson. Give her a round of applause. But no, tune in next time. And peace out. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
No, of course.
Byron, you got any plans this weekend?